There is no exit. I know that feeling. And I know that you did your best. You did everything possible to make it happen. And after all of that, nothing works. Trust me, I know that feeling. When you rely on somebody and suddenly you're left alone in the darkness. Yes, life is dark. Yes, life is negative. But the truth is that after darkness and night, there is a time to the sunlight. Yes, I know that feeling when you think that there is no exit. The key for that exit is not in the outside. The key for your exit is in the inside. We have been given the dignity of choice. Wherever we are today, it's the consequences of yesterday's choices. I was in the same place. I used to live all my life as a king in a kingdom of my comfort zone. Until this kingdom got disturbed by one thing. I discovered that I was only focusing on what I was not getting and forget about what I was not giving. So, I declared to live full and die empty. I have been always asking myself, what is the meaning of my life? And I found the answer. To make a positive difference in the souls around me by liberating their inner chained greatness to be exposed to the sunlight and transform the planet. And today, I founded Unleash to live my purpose. I interview global CEOs, entrepreneurs, and coaches all over the world to unleash their stories and experience to the whole world. Unleash is the bridge between my purpose and my mission. And my mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for all those beautiful people who are listening and watching us right now. Welcome to Unleash with Ahmed Khalid, episode number 22. Our mission is unleashing human greatness to its utmost potential. That's why I interview CEOs, entrepreneurs, and coaches all over the world to unleash their stories to you so you can absorb some values and wisdom and transform your life. I believe in that. Honestly, I believe in that because one story changed my life drastically. And I'm sure also one story from our podcast will change your life to the better and you'll never be the same again. You can listen to our previous 21 episode on Apple Podcast right now. You will find the link inside the main post, or you can even search it on iTunes. Just type Unleash with Ahmed Khalid, and you can listen to our 21 episodes. Now, let's move into our action today. And our action today, and the main topic is speaking from heart. Speaking is the most powerful way of communication that you can change the world with. People who can speak from heart can literally change the whole world. People can speak authentically from their deep heart can change nations. Speaking from heart is something I see that it's available to all of us. I saw many people in the highest organizational, highest hierarchy inside the organization. When they speak, their words are very wise, but somehow it didn't touch something inside my mind or soul. And I asked myself what was the reason for that thing. Because mainly they don't speak from heart. They speak either from their mind or from a paper. And on the other side, I saw other people, they have never prepared any word and even you can sit with them inside informal place, but their words when they speak, it's something like an arrow that touch your heart and mind and soul. Their words awake something inside you. They are very authentic. And here it comes, the power of speaking from heart. And our guest today has this amazing power. He speaks totally from heart. He has a very, 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 very positive and contagious energy. And I guarantee you will see this in our episode today when we come into the next level. You will feel his energy in our episode. He's a source of faith and positivity on this platform, especially LinkedIn. He is a HR maximizer. He helps organizations to find more applicants for the hardest to fill positions with a unique process. May I ask you, please, to welcome with me Mr. Rollis? But as usual, let's give him some applause. Can you see? I take it from you, huh?
I love it. Oh, that was
Great to see you.
my
Great
man.
to have you. I know that it will be amazing episode and
Great,
very unique
great.
today. Great to have you today.
I'm
Thank you so
excited.
much.
كيف حالك؟ كيف حالك؟
Alhamdulillah, kullu tamam. What about you?
Yeah, تمام تمام.
Yeah, we have great audience. Let's start with sending some greetings for our audience. We have our friend Robert Berry. He's sending greetings.
Robert.
Hey,
Yes.
great to
Hey,
see you. Thank
Robert.
you so much. Our friend Rabab Galal, well said. Thank you so much for tuning in, Rabab. Our friend Celine, hello. Great to see you, Celine. Judith, can you see also Judith from Finland? Good evening. Great to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my God. We have Ihtisham, beautiful Ahmed. Thank you so much. We have our unique guest today, Rollis. Happy to be here. I think that you have twins, huh?
I got it up on my phone.
I can see this. Rollis, as usual, before I start our episode today, I will ask you this question. Tell me the story and the reason behind what you're doing today.
You know, the reason why I'm in business today, right now, is because I didn't get picked. I was applying for some jobs, and I kind of I knew that where I was no longer working for me. I wasn't able to have the same passion where I was. I felt like I couldn't still stay true to all of my values where I was, and so I needed to make a change. I started applying for other places. No one wanted to hire me. Either I was too qualified for a position, and they didn't want to take a chance and hire me that way, or maybe others felt I wasn't qualified enough at all. But just for whatever reason, I just didn't get picked. And part of me, I think, didn't want to get picked, to be honest with you, because I did want to be an entrepreneur. But I wanted to say, you know what, let me just try my best, see if I can get a job. It just didn't work out. And I'm so glad it didn't work out. So I wasn't one of those like, oh, you know, I have to be an entrepreneur and I have to do this and all that. But it just came down to a matter of, you know what, I didn't get picked, and I'm still going to work on. I'd like to have my own business, so let me try and do this at the same time. And I'm just very thankful, very appreciative that it actually did happen, and I've got a great team now. I couldn't be more proud and happy of the team that I have, and just very, very excited to be here with you today. So that's kind of how I got here. I didn't get picked.
Okay, can I give you this again?
See, there are advantages to not getting picked, guys.
Yeah, I see.
So you
I
might
can
be on
relate.
our med show one day.
You taught me this, huh, by the way. I can relate to each and every word what you're saying before, because sometimes when we got rejected in life, that we took it personally. And most people in life, they take it, as a denying that no, it's not for me. But there was always a lesson behind this. And I like what you said, because once you have this kind of self-awareness and once you understand that there is a reason, Why didn't you? Why these people they rejected you? Why they didn't accept you? Sometimes we prefer just to be in the deny mode. Maybe it's because of us. Maybe maybe it's because of them. Maybe. But the reason that the game is about knowing your values and knowing why it was not working for you. As I said, that many people they prefer just to keep themselves on the closed corner and just deny the reality. But once you know the reality, everything is it will take you to the next level. This is what I keep always saying. So, as our topic today is speaking from heart, and I love your energy. Honestly, when I watch you on stream, when you stream or when you speak with people, so there is a
Thank you.
reason. It's my pleasure. There is always a reason, and there is something that push us speaking from heart. What is your experience on that?
Well, this is a learned skill for me because I didn't always do that. I was very measured, and I still am measured to a point. I think some people feel that, oh, if you speak from your heart, that means you can just be rude and say anything you want to people. No, it doesn't mean that. You can still speak from your heart and still have consideration for other people's feelings. So sometimes I think some people misconstrue speaking from your heart, meaning that you can just say anything you want to say, no matter how it hurts people. And I don't believe in that. I'm not one of those. So I feel like I can still speak from my heart, but I can still be kind. I can still speak from my heart and still be considerate of others, right? And sometimes when people see me say certain things, they're wondering, like, what's this guy's angle? Is that really him? But no, it is me. I mean, it is me. And, what I try, anything I say to you today, Ahmed, I feel bound to follow that when the lights aren't on, when the camera's not on, when the live stream's not on. I feel bound to that because I feel obligated or committed to something much higher than that, right? So I think that when you have values and you're speaking from the heart, it's things that, number one, yes, they're true. It's how you feel and it's what you want to communicate, but you're still doing it in a way that can be kind and considerate. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And the question now is it something that the speaking from heart, because also I asked myself this question, is it something that you gained, or is it something that you just activate, or are we born like this? Because I see many people, as I speak in at the beginning of the episode, that I see many people in the higher hierarchy inside the organization, and they just say very wise words. If you just see these words on a paper, you will feel it better than if they speak it, because it doesn't come from their heart. While other people they don't bear anything. Maybe they speak authentically like this between me and you like this, but their words, it's something new. They touch something inside you. Is there any formula or anything that you use? Because I see this in you, how you speak, how you inspire others, even authenticity. There is anything based on your experience that we can activate or something that we can follow?
Wow. That's a big question there. And I don't see, the things that you see in me, that you're saying you see in me, it's not something that I had to prepare or do, or like, oh, I'm going to make sure I look, this way or that way. It's just something that comes out. But I do, there's one thing, an analogy that was given me once is, imagine if you saw a bodybuilder who just just ripped and looks great. And then you went down an alleyway and you saw that bodybuilder was eating out the trash can. You say, well, something's not right. That doesn't make sense. So, before long, he may end up having to go to the hospital and dying. There's no way he can sustain that, right? So I think a lot of it has to do with, what are you taking in on a normal basis? What kind of information are you taking in? If you're taking in good information, then that's what's going to come out when you get asked questions. But if you take in too much of, using the same analogy, garbage, then that's what's going to come out. So I think that, when you say no preparation, I think part of the preparation is, what are we feeding into our minds?
Yeah.
Obviously, we do have to do things to get away. we have to kind of decompress and all that. I get that. So I'm not saying you have to watch educational stuff all the time, but watching shows like this, reading books that are uplifting and positive, those are all things I think that help a person to prepare their mind so that when they are asked the question, it does really come from the heart because it's something that their heart has meditated on. We've meditated on these positive things. And so that's what I try and do is I try and read or take in information, enough of it that's positive so that my thinking and my heart, I can meditate on that to the point where it does come out, automatically. So I that's if you're talking to someone and you hear those wise words come out, that probably tells me that they probably take in wise information from somewhere.
Yeah,
Hopefully that answered your question.
it is. It is. I like what you said because also I can relate to this. 2 years ago, as you said, that what you put in your mind, because the people that you surround yourself with, the rituals that you have in your life, it shapes your way of thinking and even way of talking. And I love what you said also because the content now we are being bombarded by many contents that you can read. You can read some articles, you can listen to a podcast, you can watch something like that in the streaming and get some quotes, something that you can inspire. It's something that you can add value to the marketplace when you speak to others. You can inspire them, you can touch them. Because as you said, if preparation, it is, yeah, it is, but there's a big difference between preparation and when you feed yourself with a positive thoughts that you can speak from heart. You can put the right words in the right time so you can inspire or touch people, and it's not easy. People, they think that it takes like 1 day, 2 days. No, it's a process, it's a ritual, it's habit. You have to do it every day. Yeah, can I give myself, please?
Yes, please. That's a good one. Absolutely. That's how you prepare. You prepare every day. That's the key point that I got from what you just said. You prepare on a daily basis. You don't just say, "Oh, I'm going to give a speech today, so I'm going to prepare for a few hours for this thing, get some positive thinking, and that's what I'm going to share." No, this is something you should be sharing over a period of time, so when you are called upon to share whatever your thoughts are, they're going to be like you want them to be, which is positive. Right? That's what we want.
Takes
that's
time.
What we're here for. That's why we came to see you today, Ahmed.
It's a pleasure to have you. I know that you are in the field of HR recruiting, and one of the major struggles that I've personally gone through is when you have a great experience, you have tons of experience, you have great gifts inside you, and when you come inside an interview, it's like 30 minutes. And I need your support in that because you're in that field. So people, I know, some people, they cannot express themselves in these 30 minutes. However, they have a great experience, they have a great gifts, but they couldn't do it. They didn't express themselves in the right way, so they didn't get this job. What are your advice for these people? How they can get out from this place to this place that they can show their values and they can speak from heart and they can be open to opportunities. Not just because I was in the same place that I got rejection, millions of rejection as you have before. But once we had this kind of self-awareness and stop this denial mode, my life has changed. I need your experience on that. Just give advice to our audience.
That's a difficult question, and I'm going to try and see if I can unpack that. And you're right. I think the system in that way is somewhat broken. That how do you get a chance to know someone in 30 minutes? It's very difficult to do that. But then I also don't think you need to bring them in for 12 interviews either. It's like make a decision. Okay. So there's kind of a balance between the two, right? In terms of how would I prepare if I was to get back in that role, and actually, you know what? I actually do have to interview in a sense because when we're getting a new client, there's some discussions before they take us on as a new client. And by the time they've taken us on as a new client, we've probably had 2 or 3 conversations that have been of some depth, right? So in a sense, I guess I do have to interview, even though I haven't interviewed for a job per se for a really long time. I think what's underestimated is asking questions. If you can get good at asking questions more so than answering, I think that is what's going to make you stand out as a candidate. So I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed over the years. And when we get to the point where they ask, they don't have any questions. So you have any questions? No, they don't have any questions. But maybe they have like one or two, like, oh, when are you going to hire someone, or when are you going to make a decision? But that's about it. But I would have loved for them to ask me questions about the company, the culture. When you have this sort of situation, how do you handle that? And then it just kind of opens a dialogue. I think that interviewers want you to do that, because a lot of times the interviewers, they don't really know what to ask you. And so a lot of times they'll get like a list of questions maybe from HR, and they may ask some stuff that they heard in an interview once, they thought it was a good idea, but they don't even know why they're asking those questions. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And tell me about your greatest weakness. We've all heard those a million times. No one wants to ask or hear those questions, but we keep doing it because they don't know what else to ask, right? So I think that as the interviewee, if you could get skillful at asking questions, you're gonna stand out as different, because most of the other people who are interviewing are not asking questions. The interview should go both ways. The interviewer should be interviewing that job applicant, but that job applicant should also be interviewing the interviewer as well. If I was to leave one thing, I'd say do that.
Yeah, I like what you said, but because of maybe I would say that people, they are not into practice to that. They just go into one way of communication. The interviewer is asking questions and you just answer. Asking questions and you just answer. But do you think that story matters inside when you do a story by the question that been asked to you? Do you think that story matters when you've been asked these questions, or?
Yeah, story means a lot. Okay, so you help me with something else. This is one thing where I see people struggle too. Is, first of all, an employer does not want you to talk negatively about your past employer. I'm telling you, if anybody's still doing that, I should say this. In the United States, maybe other cultures are different, but in the United States, and I've dealt with employers all over the United States, they do not like you to hear you say negative things about your past employer or current employer, because the first thing they're thinking about is, ooh, I wonder what they're going to say about me. So don't do that. Okay. So whenever you're talking, giving this story about why you left this past position or why it didn't work out, if you're going to rehearse anything, I would say rehearse that with somebody. Rehearse that with a buddy, where it still sounds positive. You're not really revealing any of the negative aspects of your last employer, but it still explains why you decided to make a move, whatever that case may be. I would say that would be great. That would be great if you had a good narrative. Most people don't have a good narrative, and it's too long. A lot of times, length is also important. So you want to make sure the story is not. Don't give me the 2-hour, 3-hour version. Give me that like 2 to 3 minute version as to why you're interested in this particular job and why you're leaving. Why you're interested in leaving your last one. Keep the narrative rather short. And then if you can ask them, listen, if you'd like me to go into more detail, I can certainly do that. Or if you have any questions, I'm available for that. But give them something short. And then because they may want to move on. You may have already answered. They don't want to hear the 30-minute story. One time I cried on an interview. That was the worst interview I ever had, because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I didn't realize how emotionally connected I was with my past position. And the interviewer asked me a question, and I just got so emotional because I did not really want to leave that position. I thought it was, I didn't really want to leave it, but I felt like I had to, right?
It's in the same company? Is it in the same company or another company?
No, it was another company altogether. I'm interviewing with this other company, and I'm interviewing for this job. And I got so emotional that a tear came down as I was explaining. So obviously I didn't take my own advice. I was not prepared for that interview. So okay, that's my second tip is do not cry on an interview, okay?
I think at this moment you shouldn't leave your company because you're still connected emotionally. You showed it.
Yeah, but I knew I had to go. There was no way I could be myself. and stay
Mm.
there. So
Yeah.
with that, I was like, okay, well, I know this as a recruiter that I don't want to leave a job before I found one. I've always been taught that. Don't leave a job before you found one. Always find you another job. I'm not saying that I believe in that now. I'm not saying it's still relevant, but at the time, that's where I was 12 years ago. Mentally, that's where I was. So
Yeah.
I was following that, and that was tough. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
tough. So yeah, hopefully I
Totally, I'm
didn't
with
learn from my
you.
mistake.
I, totally, I'm with you because uh, I see this even before I'd had this struggle when you don't know the magnitude or how much you should dive like 1 meter or 10 meters or 100 meters. And the good thing, yeah, when you have the interviewer, when you come and speak with the interviewer, you dive like 100 meters one time. To an extent,
Exactly.
what will happen is, I look like this. If I'm in the place of the interviewer, there is a miscommunication. It's miscommunication because I don't understand. What are you confused? And I like what the Donald Miller's he said that what you confuse, you lose. And when you start the interview with
Mm.
confusion, you lose. Sometimes, yes, what you're saying it's in the right way, but imagine with me the interviewer he doesn't have this kind of technicality or technical challenge that you speak different language. So I got lost. Maybe you speak an internal language inside your organization. It's totally different. So it's all about how being you can be smart and how you can understand. It's like marketing. When you go, you should understand who is the audience and how they think,
Yes.
how you can speak the
Yes.
same language. This is one of the
Amen.
confusion. Maybe you are the best candidate. Maybe you are the best for this position, but you confused. You confuse the whole
Mm-hmm.
people and the interviewer, and then you lose. And this is what I
Okay,
see.
you just hit another great point. I see this happen so many times for people who are
Mm.
interviewing for jobs. They don't take literally like the 2 minutes it takes to go on LinkedIn and find out who your interviewer is. Once you find out who the name, so okay, so Ahmed, we're going to have you come in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on this coming Friday. You're going to be, so we'll make sure you're prepared for the interview. And if they don't tell you the person's name, okay, great. So who will I be interviewing with? Oh, you're going to be interviewing with Robert Berry. I'm just using an example because I see him on the screen. Oh, you're going to be interviewing with Robert Berry. How hard is it to me to go on LinkedIn and spend 2 minutes to find out about Robert Berry?
Yeah,
It's not
nothing.
that hard.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can find out where he went to school. I can find out where he works. I can find out what kind of degree he has. I can have all. Is that incredible information to have on the interview? Of course,
yeah,
of
yeah, for
course.
sure.
So
It's doing the due diligence because some
yeah,
people they just lack all of this preparation. As you said,
yeah.
it is.
We didn't have this 12 years ago. I couldn't do that. I mean, most people were not on LinkedIn in 2009.
Mhm.
So, some recruiters were obviously, but not everybody. So I think that it's good to just take the few minutes to look up the website, check a little bit more about the job, make sure you're very up on that, but then also find out who your interviewer is and make sure you find out about them. Um, oh, Judith, she says, often you see this from the papers. Why? I love that. You should know the answer to the questions for why, and make sure it's not too long. Now, like you said, don't
Yeah,
go 100 meters. Give me, don't go
yeah,
100 meters. Maybe give me a half a meter or something. Like, give me something
yeah.
small, and then if I
Because it
want more, I'll let you know.
exactly because if I just dive 1 meter, it will trigger curiosity from the interviewer to ask you more. So I will go another 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter, and this will trigger even unconsciously and psychologically from the other interviewer that he will understand that you have a knowledge. You have a knowledge. When I ask you more and you answer more, I ask you more. It's like you giving step by step, but just jumping into 100 meters will not serve you anywhere at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's come
and
back to our lovely audience. What do you think?
yes, yes, absolutely.
We
Love it.
we
I
have
love, I love all the comments coming in too. That's great.
yeah. We that's why send some greetings. Our friend Ahmad is saying hello. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Our friend Robert, one is enough. He's saying. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Talking about being present. Great
Yep.
to see you. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Jenny Said. Good evening from Stockholm. Great
Oh
to see.
wow,
Thank
Stockholm.
you
Okay,
for our
awesome.
Sweden. Yeah. Yeah. Robert is saying that kind of glad you didn't get picked. I'm happy you are where you are today. So you're a good entrepreneur. Yeah. Our friend, our friend Clayton, perspective is power. Exactly. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
absolutely.
Yeah. Robert is saying, well said. Great to see you. Thank you so much, Robert. I don't know. There's technically, I think that you face this challenge also when you go live, right?
Yes.
LinkedIn
Yeah,
user.
so yeah, some of their privacy settings. Bilal is here. That's
Bilal.
awesome.
Bilal is here. That's why he's very
Bilal.
smart. Thank you, Bilal. Just to say, because he knows that it's a repetitive challenge, I think. Thank you, Bilal,
Exactly.
for being here. Thank you so much. We have also our friend Judith. Speaking from heart for me is actually using your heart. Exactly, Judith.
Ah, yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
it is.
Well said.
Let's jump. We'll come back again to our audience, but one question came into my mind here. Do you think that there is a difference between public speaking and speaking from heart?
Mm. You can speak publicly and not speak from your heart. And you can speak from your heart and not speak publicly. I think they're separate, but I think that to me, I think the ones we all want to watch are the ones that speak from the heart. I don't think we want to watch the ones that don't. At least I don't. I prefer if they speak from the heart, so that way I can be moved emotionally. Because when you watch someone speak, you want to be moved, right? You want to be moved in some way, hopefully positively. And if you want to be moved, how can they do that if they're not really speaking from their heart? If they're two-hearted, if they're double-hearted, it's difficult. The message gets confused. They're saying one thing, but maybe their body language or their facial expressions say another. And so I don't know. I mean, actors can do that. Actors, they're skillful. They know
Yeah,
they go over their lines over and over and over again, where they can say things that they have that they definitely do not believe what they're saying, but they practice it enough where they can. So I guess if someone did that, possibly that's what we call acting. But for most of us who don't establish that craft of acting, it's better for us to speak from the heart.
yeah. Okay, can I give you something here also? Please.
Okay, please.
It's lovely.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, same. I think let's take this question from Judith. She's asking, "What is the thing that you two have in common?" Start
Oh,
firstly,
oh
Mister.
yeah, positivity. Me and Ahmed, we're both positive guys. I
Yeah,
mean, Ahmed, every time I see his material, this is one thing I appreciate about your material, Ahmed, because,
thank you.
one of the things that I've taken, one of Shanae's courses, and she says, how do you want your audience to feel? The person who reads your post or watch your video, how do you want them to feel? So I actually ask that question a lot. And I think that intentionality has to be a big part of it. And I think that's what you do. You're intentionally putting out positive, inspirational material, and
Thank you.
that's how I feel when I read it. And so, was that your intention?
It is. It is because
Okay, well, see,
I
yeah, okay, there you go.
same because I would say the same. It's the positive energy because I believe positivity is a power, real power that you can change the whole world. If you fortify yourself with the positive thoughts, you will attract the right things into your life. Because I see many people, they have the best gifts and grace in their life, but they don't appreciate it. And what they attract only, it just they don't have this kind of sense of fulfillment because they are not positive about what they have, or just focus on the negative things. That's why I keep saying
Right,
that inspiring people. I love to inspire people, and I love to let them feel good about themselves because I was in the same place. And I believe in one thing, that every one of us has something unique, and you
mm-hmm.
have to manifest. You have to manifest this unique thing inside you to the whole world, because
Yes,
people are not
yes,
looking only for you. People are looking for what you're carrying. So you have to manifest what you're carrying in order to change the whole world. This what
yes.
I'm always saying it. This is life. Yeah.
I love it. And so, one of the things that I also appreciate is diversity of thought. And there are other people who don't have that. They don't think like us. And so I like to have those people in my circle too, though, because if we're about to make a decision and everybody's all super positive about, oh, let's do it. And it may not necessarily be the best thing we should be doing right at the moment, and no one's checking anybody, then we're just going to do a lot of stuff all the time and never get anything done. So I have learned how to appreciate diversity of thought, and that there are some people who look at things through a different lens, a different perspective. Maybe they're not as positive and Pollyanny as I am, but they bring a lot of value because like, wait a second now, do we have the resources for that? Or is this something we can actually do right now? Or is that going to take us off our focus right now? And those are good questions. I used to get offended. I used to like, how dare you not be positive about my idea? This is an idea that's positive. Why are you being positive about my idea? But sometimes it's just a matter of, making sure that the idea is something we should pursue right now, or should we amend it? I might be going off. Sorry if I went on this rant, but that's just something you made me think of when you're talking about positivity. I appreciate positivity. I like being around positive people, and if it was up to me, that's all I would have around me. But I do have learned to value those who don't always necessarily think positively.
Yeah, exactly. You touch a point. It's about flexibility, because also I was in the same place that when you have this rigid mind and you think that you're always right. Whether it's positive or negative, you are always right, and this is something we have to admit, because once you got opposed from people, what will happen? You will emit too much emotions from you. You radiate too much emotions from you, and you will be blinded away from the reality.
Yes.
So you will focus only on the problem. You will focus only on the problem. You will focus only on the problem, and your emotions will take you to a wrong place. That's why I keep saying that. Just be yourself. And accept, even sometimes I accept critics. Why not?
Yes.
But constructive critics. Why not?
Yes.
Because we want to be better and better and better and better.
Yes. But also I have to limit how much I take of that in, right? So I can't be around that too much, or it'll start bringing me down. So don't get me wrong, I appreciate it, but I appreciate it in doses. Just like if I take medicine. I don't. If I have a headache, I don't drink the whole bottle. I just take 2 capsules, right? So if I want to be around that, I'll just take my 2 capsules and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be around some more positive people like Ahmed.
In the face of that, I will ask you a question in the same topic. So tell me one of the worst situations or one of the worst comments that you had it on LinkedIn, and how did you deal with it?
Interesting. Okay, there's this guy. I remember I forgot his name, and it was my first time I had somebody he was just so sarcastic. He has the most sarcastic, negative attitude, right? And so I was talking about how I felt as a recruiter, we feel for it. I know sometimes you guys don't think this, right, in the audience, but as recruiters, we do feel it, right, when we have to turn people down. It's not a good feeling. Mm-hmm. And so there were a lot of people who weren't hearing back from recruiters. So I felt compelled in 2016 to write this article about why would a recruiter no longer return your phone calls and emails. Mm-hmm. So I spent time writing this article, and I remember one of the guys. And by the way, it's the most read article I've ever had. It's like it's a bunch of likes, and I don't really write articles anymore. But when I do surround, that was the best one I had. Anyway, when they answered back, he was just like, "Oh, news at 11: recruiters don't return phone calls," and just like really smart aleck stuff like that. And I had some other comments say that, basically that we should get rid of recruiters. We don't need recruiters anymore. So that was a little tough. When I first got him, I didn't know how to respond. I was like, I just want to get back. I just want to respond back to this. But I did kind of learn from that process that sometimes you can just kind of just disarm them, but just by accepting it and then moving on. Mm-hmm. And so I'd thank him. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate your point of view, and I would say something back to it. And then sometimes it's not even worth responding to. I had one guy. He had an issue because I wanted to be called him or he or whatever you put because LinkedIn asks you, do you want to be called a him or a he or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I want to be called. I don't want somebody calling me a she. So anyway, I put that on my thing, and this guy messaged me, says, I can't believe you're doing this. You're putting this. I was like, I'm not answering this guy. So I think sometimes it just has to
Yeah.
be like either you have to decide, okay, am I going to honor this with a response? Does it deserve a response, or am I
Mhm.
going to just disarm the person just by being kind right back?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm kind to
What
them
what
anyway, even though
what
they don't deserve it.
based on what you're saying that shall I engage or disengage with these people? Based on what? Do you have
Right.
anything in your mind?
I think it depends on the level of how rude they are.
Hmm.
I mean, there's levels, guys. I mean, there's one thing to just disagree, but then it's another thing to be hateful or spiteful or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, and so sometimes you can determine that from how they responded. And so if it's just coming from a place of pure like hate, which unfortunately I don't really receive that with my kind of
Mhm.
material generally, I just would not respond to that person. But if it's someone who just disagrees, or maybe they're a little bit sarcastic in the comment, and I'll answer back. Like I had one guy not too long ago. He said something like, "Oh, like I was putting a poll out." He's like, oh, great, another poll. That's exactly what I need. So he said I wouldn't see these polls anymore. And I answered him very nicely back. I says, actually, if you don't want to see polls anymore, the best thing to do is to not like and comment on it. So if the less you engage with polls,
Yeah.
the less you're going to see them, because that's just how the algorithm works. So by the fact that he's commented on my poll, he's actually making it worse. So when he answered back, he was so nice. He was like, "You were the recipient of my sarcastic, comment for the day," and we laughed about it, and I laughed back, and so, we might be friends one day. Whereas that could have actually went the other direction. Oh, Rob says he remembers it.
I think that he was engaging also. He was on the same pole, huh?
Yeah, he was on it too. Rob's he's always supportive, man. That guy, he's always there. I appreciate
Yeah,
it,
he's
Rob. If
amazing.
I'm sitting there like, oh, I hope somebody's gonna like my post. Ooh, who's gonna like my post? Oh, it's Rob. Rob's here. Okay, he liked my post. Awesome.
Yeah. I love
Same
it.
with Rob. Oh, Ahmed liked my post. Oh, I'm so happy. Ahmed liked my post. Somebody liked my post. Thank you.
So, to the same subject, I would say sometimes it's better to be silent and not talk, even if you want to speak, even you have the ability to speak. How to know the best decision is to either stay silent or speak, because we have many situations. If you reflect back, it was better to stay silent, just to speak, even if you will say something valuable. What do you think about this?
Ooh, that's a skill right there, my man. That's a skill, and that's one I've not mastered. Because there's times I spoke and I shouldn't have said anything, and there's times I didn't say anything and I should have said something. So
Yeah.
that's not one I've mastered. I'm always working on it, but I do recognize I am self-aware usually. But the problem is though, comment my self-awareness usually comes into play after. I want my self-awareness to kick in before I make the mistake. So I'm
I
working on that. But we should all be aware of that. Should you know what? Before I say something here,
Mhm.
before I say this, what if I just don't say anything? Let's just see what happens. That might
Mhm.
be the best. Even though it bothers me, whatever it is I'm saying, it may bother me, but I wonder what happens if I just don't say anything. And, sometimes when I don't say anything, it works out better anyway. So why did it need my input?
Yeah.
So that's a great question, man. I tell you, that's awesome.
I can understand this because I can reflect also with you about that situation, that I have like short story about it. One day I had some challenge, and one of my colleagues up in the hierarchy, and he asked me just about something, and it was out of my scope. It was out of my scope. It's easy to say that you can contact XYZ, but because I know how to deal with it and this kind of technicality, I start to just to express and start to explain how it was working in a technical way. And I kept repeating, till an extent I know that I'm explaining it on the right way, but there is a lack of technical understanding from the other side. And
Mm-hmm.
after that situation, I realized that the feedback that I had a miscommunication and this perception along all the way with the people that they say, Ahmed, he has some kind of miscommunication. He doesn't convey the message in the right way. And when I start to reflect that, because you have to understand the other side, do they have the ability to understand this? It was easy. And if I reflect back, I can say easily you can go there and I can avoid all of these things. And part of the reflection, I will stay silent if I know in the other side that it will be, a waste of time. It will be envy, non-value adding. I'm serious, because sometimes we try to help others from the other side, but
Yeah.
we got perceived the opposite. That, oh my God, he doesn't have this kind of communication. Guys, I'm trying to help. That's why this kind of reflection, you have to understand how people they think, how people they have this kind of ability. That's why when I see something, I know from the other side that they have some lack of capabilities or understanding, I push it to the other side. I don't go from anything. Even I can do the extra mile, but I will not do this extra mile because I know it will be a waste of time, and maybe I will have from the other side an opposite perception. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. You know what you just said. I have made that mistake so many times. That's why I was shaking my head and smiling, because I've actually made that mistake. I get too technical with people, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that may help your audience, and I'll just propose this is something when I remember to use it, it's golden. Okay, someone taught me this. I think it was Ronald Rollis who taught me this. Is even though you know your audience doesn't know something, whoever you're talking to, you say you probably already know this. So you put that in front of it, and then you can explain whatever you want. So that way, just in case they do know that, you have given them the confidence or the knowledge that, okay, I did know that. And if they don't know that, it allows them to save face just in case they didn't know that. Okay, so let's say it's a complicated term, like if I say ATS, because in recruiting we use what we call ATSs. And so, Ahmed, you probably already know this, but ATS, it stands for Applicant Tracking System. It's just a software we use to help keep track of the applicants. But anyway, when I use the ATS, and you just go on and explain it. So that has helped me a lot, because I help to give I dignify my audience, but I still get a chance to explain some jargon that they may not understand. And you're right, sometimes it's best just don't say anything. Just stop talking.
Yeah,
And,
I like what you said.
Because you're,
It's a skill. It is a skill. It takes time, but you'd have this skill when you train yourself, when you understand that the people around you, how they got perceived, and just don't engage with the people. I don't want to say this, but they are not they're ignorant about what the topic that you will go to or you
Yeah.
speak about, because you will be annihilated, and at the end of the day, you you will have a misperception about the communication. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell you, there's been times I've just talked too long, and actually my staff would help me. It's like, Ross, at the end of the sales call, it's like, why did you go into extra detail? You just confused them. All you did was confuse them. So you're right. I've done that
Yeah.
many times, many times.
I can understand. One question. Uh, if I know that you're helping the companies and organization to select the best candidates all over the world. So how do you select the best candidates based on your company or based on the portfolio of your company? How you help the companies or the organization at that point?
The jobs that I work on, only a small percentage of the population can qualify for that job, because a lot of them you have to have a license, right? So it makes my job a little bit easier in that I have a smaller pool of people. But whenever you have a job that really pretty much anybody can do, because as long as you have the mental capabilities to do it, and you don't have to have a special degree and all that, that makes the job that much harder, because how do you figure out who's going to be the best for that job, especially if you only have one position? So let me just talk about my positions for a second that we work on. And it's very simple with healthcare recruiting. So if I have a registered nurse job, there's about 328 million people in the U.S., but only about 4 million have a license as a nurse. So you automatically, there's 324 million people who do not qualify for my job, okay, for whatever reason. Only 4 million could possibly qualify. And then out of those 4 million people, it's like, do they have the experience? I know there's a lot of folks out there who apply for jobs that
Mm-hmm.
they don't necessarily qualify for, and then you have some who don't apply for jobs that they don't qualify for. I see a case for both. They did a study not too long ago that certain demographics, typically males, and in this case white males, are 60% more likely to apply for a job that they don't qualify for. Therefore, they end up getting sometimes more jobs in some cases, because some of the minority candidates just don't bother to apply because they read the description and they're like, well, I don't qualify for that, and they don't apply. So I would say for some of you who are having a hard time getting something, go ahead, but be intentional though. Don't just apply for everything. Don't spray and pray. I'm not saying to do that. But if it's a job you really feel passionate about, it's a company you feel passionate about, even if you don't fully qualify, especially if you're a minority candidate, go ahead and apply anyway. That's one tip I would give. Now, for a registered nurse job, for one of the jobs or for physician job that we're putting out there, I don't care how much you're passionate about the job. I don't care how much you love the company. If you're not a registered nurse, we're not going to hire you because you got to be a nurse. You got to have a license. Okay. So that doesn't apply in my case. But I think for some of those jobs that you do feel a passion for, go ahead and apply for it anyway and explain why you applied for that job. Maybe put a little cover letter with it. I usually don't. I don't really. I'm not a big proponent of cover letters, especially on my end, because I already know if you're qualified or not by your resume. You generally, so I don't need a cover letter. But for some of these jobs where you could qualify for it, but it may not be that apparent from your resume, I think it helps. And then do what you're doing, Ahmed. Be present on the space of LinkedIn and places like this where your potential hiring manager could see you. Because a lot of these recruiters are going to try and look you up anyway. Make sure they find something and make sure that what they find is good.
Yeah.
Have some good stuff. Write some articles about whatever you do, and comment on other people who are in your field that you look up to, and so that they can see that you have that association with them. I'm gonna shut up because you might want to go through some more stuff, but I just wanted to share that little point.
No, I love it because I see that you just touch a point on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn now is a platform where you can recruit. I believe that the most recruitment happens on LinkedIn. And I listened from too many people that if I'm not existed on LinkedIn, and if I don't have a social index, and if I don't show who am I on LinkedIn or this kind of platforms, business platforms, how I'll be contacted? Maybe I would have the best values, and I could be the best candidate for this opportunity, but because I'm not showing what are my values or who am I will not be selected. And I have the many cases like that from many friends. I know many friends that they have the greatest values, they have the greatest experience, and at the same time they applied for a job. And another people, I know them that their experience and their values, with my due respect, is not compared to those people that they apply. And the other people that they have less experience and values, they got hired because of their existence. They are there always. I'm here. I show. I manifest. All of that. And this is one of the most compelling platforms I see, LinkedIn. So you have to be there. You have to show who are you. You have to show your values. You have to be there. I am here and I'm inspiring. This is the best thing. Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. So go ahead. If you
I
want
was
to
going to say, like, to just give one example. If I had a job, if you had a job, okay, and you needed to hire one of the best financial minds in the world, and you had two applicants for that job. You had Warren Buffett and you had Ray Diallo. Which one would you pick?
For me, Warren Buffett.
Okay, why'd you pick Warren Buffett?
Because I know that he is one of the best. I don't want to say entrepreneur, but he's a businessman and investor. And he knows how to do things by his hands, and he built everything by hand. This is my view.
Yep, it sounds great. And then how much do you know about Ray Diallo?
Not too much.
Exactly. And so what are people going to do? They're going to pick the person who they know. Most people are going to pick Warren Buffett because they've seen Warren Buffett on TV, they've seen him interviewed, they've seen him in an article, they've seen him all over the place. Warren Buffett. Yeah. Ray Diallo, you hadn't heard about him, but he's also a multi-billionaire as well. This guy is amazing. So I agree with that. I'd pick Warren Buffett too. But the point I'm making is that if I have 100 candidates who applied for my job, and I've seen 5 of them on LinkedIn because I've seen them comment on my posts and stuff like that. I've seen them like my posts. I know who they are. Well, those 5 people are going to get my attention quicker than the other 95 because I'm aware of them. I wasn't aware of the other one. So just like with the Ray Diallo, Warren Buffett example, if you're more familiar with Warren, you're probably going to pick him. So we're just, human nature is that works that way. So why not use it to our advantage? If you are looking for a job, make yourself visible in as many places as possible where your hiring managers are going to be, whether it's going to be on LinkedIn, if it's at some trade association, I don't care where it is. Just make sure you're present. I mean, everywhere you go, oh, well, there's Ahmed again. Oh, yeah, I saw Ahmed at the last trade association. Oh, look, Ahmed just commented on my post. Oh, look, he just liked one of my posts. So that's a person, if Ahmed applies for my job and there's like 90 other people who applied, guess which one I'm going to notice first? Ahmed Kali. He's the one on the top of my head, the top of my mind.
Because of connection. I like what you said, because I connect always. I'm building something inside your mind. I'm here, I'm there. This is, I would say it's like some personal branding and social index on LinkedIn. I show my values. I'm here. I'm there. These are my values. So whenever there is any opportunity, whether business opportunity, whether it's partnership, whether whatever, people will be human because you are there and you are authentic. You are manifesting your greatness. You are trying to inspire. You have a social index. So this will ease the whole cycle and all even process. You attract the right partners. You attract the right people into your life. This is the best thing that you have. I love what you said about LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn, it's a life changing. It changed my life, and I think also it changed your life totally drastically. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been excellent tool for our business for sure, and I've gotten some great contacts on it. By the way, Judith asked me to share my article. Yes, I'll do that. I'll be sure and share the article on the comment. And Rob says he sprayed and prayed too.
Yeah, as usual. So the last question I would ask you: what would be the best channel if a company is looking for a candidate and they want to approach you? The first question, that do you have the ability to help all over the world, or you have some geographical that you can support with? Do you have anything regarding this? And what is the best channel to contact you?
Okay. First of all, I think the best channel is Ahmed's channel. Ahmed's channel is amazing, and if you want to know anything about operations and making sure you have the right inventory and you're maximizing your results, you need to stay on the Ahmed channel, okay? That's the favorite channel. Okay. As far as, who we help folks in the United States and typically in healthcare. So if you're in the United States and or if you want to learn about healthcare in the United States, then my channel is probably a good one to check out. We have like a Thursday roundtables. We have folks from healthcare. Monday we have Growth Monday, and of course we have Business Casual Fridays, which you've been on before. You were amazing on that. So we do different shows like that. So I try and do some things that appeal to everybody, and then some of my shows are strictly for healthcare. Feel free and follow me on LinkedIn. I am out of connections, so what I have to do is I have to remove people to add you. So follow me first, and then if you want to connect, I'll still have it in my hopper. So whenever I make room, I'll add you in. And feel free, if you see something that you like, comment on it, like it. Just be like Robert and Ahmed, who always are commenting and liking on my stuff. And I'm gonna do the same thing with y'all.
Thank you so much, Rollis. It was a real pleasure having you today. Your positive energy is really contagious, and I love how you speak from heart. It's very valuable information and insights that we have today, and I'm sure 100% that we have to have another session or episode speak about interesting topic again. Thank you so much for sure.
I have one question for you.
For sure,
one question. It's very important.
Please.
You remember King Solomon, right?
Yes.
Remember King Solomon? Okay.
Yes.
So where was King Solomon's temple located?
I'm not that good in history.
Okay. I know you know the answer. He had one right here, and he had one right here.
I think
I'm
this is
sorry,
the
I had to
best.
leave with that laugh.
Yeah, I think this is the best closing that I have ever had in this Great to have you, Rollis. Thank you so much for being
My
there
pleasure,
today,
man.
and
I
I'll
had
see you
fun.
again. Thank you guys, and see you
Bye,
again.
everybody.
Bye bye, bye
Thank you,
bye.
man. Appreciate you, bud.
Thank you. Same here.